Hi, thank you for your time. Can you please tell me about yourself?
My name is Claudiu Gradinaru. I'm a professor of physics here at University of Toronto, Mississauga. Been here since 2006. I do research in biophysics and I teach a number of courses, amongst which optics, classical mechanics, molecular biophysics, and so on.
Tell me about your educational background. What did you study and where?
I studied physics back in my home country, in Romania. I got my bachelor degree in 1995, and then I went to the Netherlands where I did my PhD, and I got my PhD degree in 2001 in biophysics. I studied photosynthesis using lasers, ultrafast spectroscopy of photosynthetic proteins.
I'm not doing biophysics, so tell me if your PhD thesis was the same subject that you're studying right now.
Funny that you say, my PhD thesis is right here. So in the Netherlands we had to write a little book about our research, and as you can see, I'm still using lasers. I'm still applying lasers to look at biological molecules. It's just that I use different techniques with lasers and different molecules. I look at individual molecules, and the molecules I look at are not photosynthetic, but they are proteins involved in a number of cellular processes like signaling. They are involved in diseases like Alzheimer's and so on.
When did you realize that you like research?
That's an interesting question. Probably I got hooked up when I did my diploma project. So as a senior undergrad, you could say my thesis, my research thesis was done, a full year thesis. I had the privilege, I had the chance to go to the Netherlands for a full year to do research in the lab where I ended up as a PhD as well. So there I saw how constant puzzle solving and how very dynamic and unconventional and challenging research was, and I liked that. I liked not being bored with studying the same thing again and again. And yeah, you could say that as a young 22, 23-year-old, I got hooked to this constant search, always standing on not solid ground but moving ground, new hypotheses, new ideas.
Amazing. So we are in your lab right now. Can you please describe a day in your life as a researcher who works in this lab?
A day in of a researcher would be like, you always come to work with an idea what you're going to be doing that day. So these are not isolated. You probably had some problems from the previous day. You are things that were trying to solve. So when you come to the lab, you already have an agenda. What happens is you come to the lab, you talk to your colleagues, you go to the bench, and you prepare your sample. As you see here, we have a lot of instruments, microscopes that we build, and you don't necessarily immediately come here to do a measurement. You first have to think, do I have the right sample? Do I have the right conditions? And you do that not so much on your own. You do it together with your colleagues. I would say science is one of the most social activities that I know. It's very interactive. So you always constantly talk to people to get suggestions, ideas, to help you advance with your particular research. At the end of the day, I would say, be prepared when you do research to face a lot of failure. And you shouldn't, I would say failure, maybe negative results. You have to have a fairly high capacity of absorption of, let's call it failure or negative result, and you shouldn't see them as negative, but as a intermediate step towards the end goal of your project.
I don't know if you get brain fogs ever, but if you do, any suggestions for the times that your brain is like not doing great?
I think my philosophy was always, if I'm tired, I sleep. If I'm frozen, if I hit a wall, I just take a step sideways. I go and do something else, whether I run, bike, watch soccer, joke with people. You just have to disengage for a period of time to let your brain find new ways. So don't get stuck in the same position for a long time. You just need to do something that takes your mind away from it.
Do you have any advice for upcoming first-year students who are probably interested in doing research?
My advice would be, research is really, really different than the courses that you take at university. It's curiosity on steroids. Courses teach you background, laws and rules, stuff that is well established, maybe more than 100 years ago. What we do here in the lab, nobody has done before. So it's constantly new, it's constantly challenging. So my advice for the first year would be always unhappy with what you learn, with what you're told. Be always on the hunt for something new, something challenging. If that's the kind of character you are, to constantly look for new challenging, I think research is for you. So look, our labs may be in a weird corner in this building, but try to walk around until you find the research space and knock on doors. Just try to say, hey, I'm a first year student. What are you doing here? Be curious. That's what I can say. Nobody will tell you, get out of this lab. You're not allowed to be here. On the contrary, we would welcome first year students.
Do you have any research opportunities for first years or upcoming or upper year students?
Right now, I have 4 students doing research in my lab. Typically, on average, I have 3 to 4 students, undergraduate students, constantly being involved with projects in my lab, whether they're doing a summer project, whether they're volunteering in my lab, whether they are doing a thesis project, or even a literature dissertation. So I do have always a need for hands on deck. What sometimes happens is that graduate students, they need to write a thesis, or new graduate students come in and they need to be trained. So they may be going up and down in terms of supervisory capacity, but I'm known for accepting students from physics, biology, chemistry, from 2nd, 3rd, 4th year. So when you finish your first year, my advice would be go talk to professors, go check the labs. You'll always find something. You may find something, but don't get discouraged. Keep asking, keep pushing. That's how you get ahead.
Is this what you dreamed of when you were younger?
No. When I was younger, I was shy. You wouldn't guess that. I wouldn't dare. I grew up in a very hierarchical structure where I wouldn't dare to talk to the professors at all. So my experiences was peer learning. I learned a lot with my colleagues, with my friends. We taught a lot of each other. But I'm not saying that was ideal. I think I should have, in retrospect, challenged more my professors, my faculty. And I urge you to talk to your friends, but also talk to the professor. We're here to, not to serve you, but to teach you, to mentor you.
And my final question, are you happy about what you are in life at the moment?
That's a very dangerous question. I would rephrase the answer, if I may. I say I am at ease with where I am and what I do. Of course, I have my satisfactions, I have my failures, but I think that I made the right choice. I think I have a great career, I have a great job, I like what I do. Do I want to do more? Do I want to research? Yes, of course I do. But that doesn't mean I'm unhappy. I think I'm satisfied with the time and place that I'm in and with the people that I work with.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.